How's their retirement going? So I'm going to just read you a couple of emails from a couple of people that email me having retired. And oh man, I love it. I love it. It just, man, I tell you, it makes, it just, oh, here we go. It just makes it, I cannot tell you how worthwhile it feels to be in this position. And as much as I just, thank you, YouTube, man. Thank you, YouTube. All right, so here's Marie. We'll just call her Marie. I went back to my old company today. I went back to visit my old company today. Many have not seen me for a year and a half and all wanted to chat with me. Want to know what I've been up to and if I did go back to work someplace else. I smiled and I said, I'm not going back to work. Many of them had the same comments about working until their full retirement age when they can collect Social Security. I told them it's all about expenses and asked if they checked to see how much they would get from Social Security. I'm just amazed at how many people don't know how to figure out if they can quit their crappy old job. Glad I found you on YouTube, and you helped change the way I look at work versus retirement. Love it. And then my man, we'll call him Jack. Where was it here? Oh, right there. I was looking to retire soon. Out of Roth, TSP, mutual funds, and some cash. I was seeking guidance and advisement for the next steps in life. What I appreciate about your approach to me is you brought me into perspective of my values and basically encouraged me to consider outcomes that I could accept or not accept. I was considering retiring in my home state, some Midwest state, because that's where I grew up. With your approach in mind, we decided to settle someplace in the Southeast. Property taxes are phenomenally low. I'm within 20 minutes of a military medical exchange, commissary, PX, all that. We purchased a home in a tight seller's market. Both our 10-year-old Fords are paid off. Shocking. Just added a deck to our house with cash. He bought a new Harley with cash. So far, I'm doing okay without feeling the need to something post-retirement employment, to seek post-retirement employment. There he goes. He's in his late 50s and he's enjoying life, contributing to church, homeless shelters, and orphanages. To church, homeless shelters, and orphanages. Come back to that. And he said, Josh, when you lay your head down on your pillow, you can know the impacts you affect. Church, homeless shelter, and orphanages. Just read from James, Jesus' brother. All right, this is Jesus' brother. All right. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted in the world, or polluted by the world. Isn't that interesting? And so my man there is going into helping the homeless. I guess I lost his email. The homeless church, the homeless, and the orphanages. Almost like it's biblical. I want to share with you something else why I think that's important too. So I got the most recent edition of Maine Biz, because I think this is going to be more and more important. I'm going to share with you something here. This is from the article, Maine Manufacturers Get More Strategic About Recruiting. So here's a guy who is the general manager, David Nemi, who is with Franklin Printing. Hold on, let me get this guy. All right. Oh, boy. And I'm not sure. It's in Maine someplace. And he says, when I started in the business, we would go a long time without needing to hire somebody. We had such a good base of employees who started at the company 19 years ago. Many of those employees are still here, but only in the last few years have we had to really think about the recruiting process and how we're going to make it work better for us. Despite all his efforts to find right people, finding the right fit isn't a given. There's a lot of competition, this guy says. And there's what it looks like. Right there. There's a lot of competition. There were times we didn't react fast enough and the person accepted another job. I mean, in a day or two after speaking to the recruiter, not a matter of weeks. There's also at least one new hire who didn't last more than a few hours. We've never had anyone not show up, but we hired somebody who left after lunch and never came back. So he's basically having a hard time. But check this out. Increasingly, many workers are leaving even before they reach retirement age. Like the purchasing manager who recently retired unexpectedly in late 2021 has yet to be replaced. Today's hiring headache stems from an aging workforce with people aged 55 to 64 making up the biggest proportion of U.S. manufacturing jobs in the U.S. Did you hear that? The people 55 to 64 make up the biggest proportion of manufacturing jobs in the U.S. You would find sectors with such a heavy concentration of older people, which in turn means higher retirement and quit rates. For manufacturers, they are rightly concerned when they look at their workforce with a bunch of baby boomers. It's not only how do they get the new bodies in to replace them, but how do they replace that institutional knowledge as well. Why do I say that? The days of growth are over. Growing. That means the days of your portfolio growing at significant rates are over. The workforce is dominated by baby boomers. It's just that simple. And they're retiring faster than being replaced. And a lot of the people who can replace them don't know those jobs. They don't go into, I'm telling you right now. Get out. Look, I can't tell you what your situation is, but get out while you can. Right, Pablo? You don't have any time to waste. And I'm just telling you, because what's going to happen, you can see this a mile away. The growth is over. It's over. It's just going to be Japan-ish, which is okay. And if you want to work because you have so much debt, well, that's on you, man. If you want to work because you like it, well, that's okay. That's one thing. If you want to work to stay away from your wife, again, that's on you. But if you're working under this idea that you can get your portfolio will grow another 10%, you're crazy. You're going to have to get accustomed to spending less and living off less and having a less accumulation phase. You're going to have to deal with this. And if you're already there, you're not put on this earth to freaking sit there in some manufacturing company, listen to the man who now recognizes, oh, we should have been, this guy seems like a nice guy. It's like we never even thought about having to recruit people. We never had to do it, which means they didn't have to pay because they didn't. You see what I'm saying? And now he's like, now we're scrambling. Now we have to recruit, and now people aren't showing up, and we're not offering enough incentives and whatnot. They're going to have to pay. And that's inflationary, and it's not inflationary. I mean, it could be, but inherently doesn't make because Bath Iron Works is going to pay their freaking welders is going from $15 an hour now to 23. That in of itself is not inflationary until it spreads across the country. But there's not that many people who can do the skills to weld to begin with. So if you're 55 to 64, man, hang it up. Go work with the orphans and widows and the freaking homeless and the freaking Chuck Colson prison fellowships. Your time is running out. Faith is seen through works. Get out there and get to work. Doing things you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. All right, just thought I'll share that with you. Happy New Year. And don't forget to sign up for my email on the Goobly Dook down below. And locals every Friday at 4 p.m. Locals live, but you gotta sign up for it. All right, we'll see you.